Hello everyone, it's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here again for Let's Fly with Nikki, Come Fly with Nikki. Let's just call it Come Fly with Nikki. And today we're going to be taking out the Aerobask. And this is the Aerobask Eclipse 550NG. Amazing aircraft to fly, quite fun, beautifully rendered. It's just a gorgeous aircraft. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be flying out to 29 Delta. And 29 Delta is out in Pennsylvania. Right now we are at an airport in Huron, and that will be in Ohio. We have everything on. I think it would take normally a little bit longer for that to happen. So left engine start. Left engine is started. We're good. Right engine start. And right engine is starting. So we got a hard start on both. We are going to put on our nav lights and we are going to put on our taxi lights just because we're here. Alright, so this shouldn't be that long of a flight, so let's get this in here. We're going to go, oh, we have to get rid of this flight plan. How do you clear a flight plan in this thing? I totally forget. Let's bring this one up. Let's go in here and do it. So we'll flight plan in here. I can't flight plan in here. Oh, because I'm in flight plan over here. So let's get out, and then we should be able to flight plan in here. Nope, I can't. Alright, so we'll put the flight plan in over here. So we're going to start it up. We're going to clear it, of course. Let's remove waypoint. Okay. 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 Okay. So we're going to be flying out from here. So the waypoint over here is going to be 5. What is it? 5 what? It's 5. A1. So we're going to go from K5A1. K5A1. So that's where we're starting, K5A1. And then after K5A1, the next waypoint is going to be a fix over, and it's going to be Sigba. It's just going to be a fix. It's going to be CIGBA. Oh, shit. We don't need ground services. We want CIGBA. And that's it, Sigba. And we're going to go from Sigba. We're going to go to Fenru, FENRU. Oh, God. FENRU, Fenru, taps, and then Zbor. Get that in there, Fenru, and then add in another waypoint, taps, TAPPS. Nope, nope. TAPPS. Okay. Taps. And then Zebu. Want to add another waypoint in there, and that's ZEBOR. Zbor. ZEBOR. Zbor is in there, and then of course the final one, which is going to be 29 Delta. 28 29 Delta. And this will be K 29 Delta. Come on. K29 Delta. Alright. And we're going to add arrival. Load arrival. We're going to be arriving in via that. And alright, so this was already here. Sigba. Okay, so it was already here. So if I didn't put all that stuff in there already, we'd be alright. But now Fenru is coming up here, so we're going to take this out. Remove waypoint. I kind of screwed this up. Zbor. And we've got it. Sigma, Fenru, Zbor, tabs, 29D. So we're good. All right. So we've got a little bit of wind coming out here. I believe we're going to be fine. Let's take a look at what the 2965. Let's get that loaded in. $29.65 done. Let's get this taken care of over here. Got to plug in my nav computer, aka my iPad. Have my chart up, and we're going to be all set to go. This is going to be about a 100-mile flight. It should be no more than a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes at the most. But I just wanted to fly out in this aircraft because I think it's pretty cool. All right, so we have takeoff flap set. We have brakes on, brakes off. We're going to bring up the, put on the beacon. Nav lights are on. Taxi lights are on. And we should be able to start going down to wherever it is that we take off from. So we are using the higher res model for this. There's a high res and a low res. Low res for computers that just can't handle the game right now. Supposedly there's a beta patch that improves performance on on X-Plane 11. I haven't tried it out yet. I really don't have performance problems, and I don't have the fastest computer out there, but I do have a very quick one. I have a 7700K, overclocked about 19%. I have 16 gigs of Dominator RAM from Corsair, and I have a EVGA 1070 super clocked, I guess, overclocked SSC. I'm thinking about getting a TI if I can start making some money from streaming and doing my YouTubes. Been doing so well with the Star Citizen part of it, but X-Plane, I'm trying to find my my niche. Who am I and what am I doing? I am a new pilot, 120 some odd hours in real life, but a new pilot to X-Plane. I've only been playing it all my life. Not that long. I never played it like religiously for what X-Plane is about, but I am new to doing instrument type stuff in the game, and I'm hoping that my experiences that you'll be able to watch will help some of you see how easy it is to get into flight simulation and how fun it can be. So we need to taxi down to the end of the runway, and there's a turnaround point at this airport because I think it's an airport that is built that way. They probably extended the runway at some point to handle jets, and that's why they have this. They didn't want to extend the taxiways, or maybe it's just the way that it's rendered inside of X-Plane. I feel like my pedals are off a little bit. My next thing I am buying is going to be the brand new Logitech rudder pedals, which are the old Saytech Pro rudder pedals. The acquisition and integration of Saytech into Logitech's business is complete, and as of E3, there is now a web page with all the old Saytech items on Logitech's website, which is pretty good. And I'm hoping that means that some of the Saytech products that I loved but fell apart on me will have a better build quality, specifically like the X56, X55 models. The X52s are still amazing, but I like to fly military stuff and Star Citizen, so that is something that I am quite looking forward to. And hopefully for the people that are still waiting for a Star Citizen type HOTAS unit, they'll be able to get that too. Alright, so we are on the runway and we are going to just push it forward, but we're not going to go to 100%. I learned my lesson on this aircraft. There we go, we back off. If you stay at 100% too long, you wind up busting up your engine. Your engine will indeed fail on you. It'll catch on fire. And then you're not going to have much to go on. Positive rate, gear up. And we're going to climb up to about 1,000 feet. There we go. 1,500 feet. Let's get to 200. And then we're going to let's just let that go. Flaps up. Backing off the throttle. Backing off to 80%. Now we're flying with Enviro today. Let's put that autopilot on. Let's get that nav locked in. And let's keep that vertical speed right around 750. So there we go. Vertical speed right around 750. Let's keep the speed down. And our aircraft is going to fly out to Sigba. Sigba is going to go out to Fenru, and then Fenru is going to go from there. So we're going to remove this Sigma. No, I didn't want to do that. I want to remove this Sigma. So we are now going 5A1 to Sigba, and that is going to take us a whopping 215 knots. Shouldn't take us that long at all. 33 minutes. Not that long at all. Most of our time will probably be spent on approach. I'm only going to be climbing up to about 6,000 feet. I think that will be a good 6,000 feet. We're going to improve that altitude change. So we're going to get up to 6,000 feet and level off. It's such a short flight. Spending so long climbing and descending isn't what I want to do. Plus, I want to show off the not the Ortho 4XP scenery like I've been flying around in the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina area, but the Autogen scenery that is in the game. It's not perfect by any means, but it is good. It still gives you that feeling of flying around in the real world. Now the roads and everything are rendered correctly because I have the high definition mesh that I downloaded from the xplane.org site. We're getting pretty decent frame rate for the settings that I'm on. I'm using pretty advanced settings on it just so I could show you. Let's go into our graphics, and I don't have everything up. I have world objects up, I have reflection detail up, I have anti-aliasing right here, and visual effects just on high. I'm not sure if that's the best way to configure this at this point, but I've liked it. But I've also installed a couple of mods. One I still have to learn how to use a little bit. That's going to be X-Camera. I'm going to be spending a lot of time learning that. I do have FSEconomy. Good. Alright, I have FSEconomy in there. I was scared that I forgot to pick up those passengers. We did. And I do have one of my favorites in here, which is, of course, Enviro. And Enviro, it does a lot to actually add much more realism into the ambience, or into the world around you. Specifically into the clouds, winds, weather collection, how everything or every one of those things is depicted in the game. The clouds are just amazingly gorgeous compared to the stock clouds. It does have a little bit of a hit on frame rate, but not much. I do find it, I find that amazing. Yeah, they could be better, but I think you're at the tail end of actually being able to render things like that in realistically. And we are just about 27 minutes out. I'm going to back off the throttle down to 75%, 73%. And we should be leveling out in just a few minutes. Let's make sure we keep our altimeter settings correct so we could ask for Cleveland area control.
November 3-1 Sierra
2964.
Lima Papa Romeo altimeter 2964.
Alright, read back that transmission.
Kilo, Lima, Papa, Romeo, altimeter 2964, November 31, Sierra, Lima.
I'll be 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Alright, so we are leveling out at 6,000 feet. Got our altimeter in. I don't need strobes on. I do have my nav, but I could turn off my taxi light. I didn't have my landing light on. I forgot that. Everything seems to be doing well here. Aircraft is flying well. And, well, we just have a short hop here. That's it. Very short hop. So essentially, our approach is going to be Sigba into Fenru, Fenru into Taps, Taps into Zebor, and Zebor right into runway 28. The runway is 4,500 feet, so it's not that big. Not as big as the one that we just took off of. Got to worry about that a little bit. And our altitudes that we'll be looking for are going to be 4K at Fenru, 4K at Sigba, or 4,100 at Sigba, and 4K at Fenru. From there, when we hit Taps, we should be at 3,100. Yeah, this should not be bad. This is our radar navigated approach. Our sky view on, we're flying true, and we're 22 minutes out.
02 X-ray, Papa, Y heading 260.
We are going a little bit fast. Our ground speed is up around 268, and we are going to back off of that just a little bit.
November 02 X-ray, Papa, Kilo, Alpha, Kilo, Romeo, altimeter 2964.
Alright, I'm just going to transfer those two because I don't want to keep playing with the ATC today. I think ATC in this game is not so good. So it's not bad flying at 6,000 feet. We are essentially equipped for most situations. We have terrain that we could be looking for, which we're not going to be up against. We have weather that we could be looking for. This kind of says that it's clear all the way out, but at altitude, not anywhere else. Winds, 260, 26 knots, 26 knots, 26 knots. Yeah, okay, so we're getting a little bit of a tailwind on this, which is why we're still going a little bit fast. We're going to drop below 250, true airspeed, we are. Indicated airspeed is like 197, so we're good. Ground speed is 244. Alright, what are we at? Alright, not bad, not bad. Alright, I'm going to let you watch the aircraft from the outside, and I'll touch base with you in just a few minutes. Okay, 20 minutes out, 10 minutes. I'm really trying to figure out how this is looking over here. I don't have any... oh, I do have it. I just have to be careful where I do it. So Sigba is in 80.1 nautical miles. ETA is in 20 minutes. And then Fenru, Taps, Zebor, and K29, 29D come up very quickly after that. I just have to find the right place to do this in. Okay. So we are 20 minutes out, and we are going at 234 knots. That's not bad. 234 knots ground speed. I did not expect to have to shoot this again. Yeah, I already shot this one, but we had a mess up. When you load in this, I like to punch them in myself because it doesn't always work out perfectly well. And what I mean by that is that when you just choose to load a radar approach, or nav approach, it sometimes misses that first fix, and that's what was going on with me. It was sending me to Fenru. So what I had to do is, on the last one, is I really had to I almost botched the landing. And when I did land, there was a error with there was a major error inside the plug-in for FSEconomy. So I have to fly this again just to make my money. So we're getting out there as quickly as possible. We are going to be slightly low on fuel possibly by the time we get there. I did not add any. So the aircraft when it left had 73 gallons and we are already at 42 gallons. So that's going to be tough. We should be fine getting out there because you figure we only used 30 so far and we've only got 18 minutes left of flying time. We're down to 71 miles till we hit Sigba or Sigba, one of those two. My kids are already here, so I want to get myself moving. And still a little bit of clouds. I love the way that looks when you're going through that because that is not the most real. It's realistic. It's not the most, but it's realistic. Let's go into options, and we have windshield reflections, EFIS. Okay, so we have everything on there. Weight, everything's set. Could add more fuel if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Sound, lights, shades, cool. Love this aircraft. I wish they gave you checklists, but this isn't a study level aircraft. It's a wonderful aircraft to fly, but not study level that I see. All right. We're going to want to get down to 4,000 feet for Sigba. And you figure if I drop down at a 500 feet a minute, I want to get there at... Alright, so I'll know. It's going to be 4 minutes beforehand, so in about 12 minutes. Seems to be that this is the time when all my email messages are coming in. I'm going to lift up our speed a little bit since our 2 airspeed is only at 209. Let's see if we can bring it up to about 230. I want to make this flight go a little bit quicker. We can do below 250. We have to be below 10,000 feet. So as long as we don't go above 250, we should be fine. So adding a couple of miles an hour in there, you know, a couple of knots, I should say, in there, shouldn't be too bad. Should decrease our time aloft. You know what? I need to build some. I want this to be a view. So let's set that up as control 5. So 0 brings me here, 5 brings me there. Okay. So it's 13 minutes to Sigba. We'll be fine. Alright, and we'll go back there. Flying through the clouds. Gorgeous. Had to add a brand new hard drive to my system. I now have 2 SSDs. I have a Corsair, or no, a Crucial 500 gig, not that great, but I have the main drive is a 960 Pro 512 gigabyte from Samsung. Very fast, very good for the system. I put the X-Plane on the 500 gigabyte Crucial, but I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm most likely going to be buying an OCZ Toshiba 1 terabyte and moving all of my X-Plane files on there, so I could just dump a boatload of tiles into the game from Ortho 4XP. I think that would be awesome. Okay, 11 minutes and 49 seconds. As soon as that hits 4 minutes, we're going to start our descent to Sigba. This is just awesome. I love this. This is just such a great flight. Look at it. Alright, let's look at it from the cockpit again, because looking at it from the cockpit is just amazing. That is amazing. I can't wait to see my kids! Sorry, my kids are all here today. They're all doing different things in their life now. My daughter is in nursing school, my boys play football and cross country, and they evidently practice all year round. It's good to have them around. Okay, we're coming up on our 10-minute mark, just about 1 minute from now. I feel like our rudder pedals might be a little off, but they're not. Again, very excited that Logitech now is in command of Satek's products, because I have a feeling that those products are going to get so much better in build quality. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. That would be horrible. So, GPS approach is not what we're doing. We're doing a radio approach or radar approach, something like that. RNAV. Oh, it's a GPS. Okay. AWAS is supposed to be 11875, so let's just check that out and see if that actually works. 11875. Transfer. Does that work? This is Grove City. They're sending us to Franklin for AWAS, which supposedly isn't that far out. We're still about 45 miles. Once we get in within 45 miles, we should be fine. We're down to 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay. Things are going to start getting busy here in just a few moments. Flight attendants, prepare the cabin for arrival. And there's nothing to do. Yo, get back there. There's nobody in my cabin right now. It's supposed to load people, but it just never does. But there's nobody in it, but the weight and balance is done right. Always does that. Loads the fuel, takes care of the aircraft. Love FSEconomy, making the game so much better. I'm not going to do a lot of flying in this aircraft yet. I think it's wonderful. I think it's just going to be very expensive in the game to actually be able to run it. And FSEconomy, I need to be able to take people a lot further than 100 miles. Right now, I'm trying to make money to get my own aircraft and possibly rent that out occasionally. Alright, where are we going? So FSEconomy lets you be a charter pilot, work for an airline, create and run an FBO, rent out your aircraft. You can buy many aircraft and have them at an FBO and rent them out. And so it really does allow you to do a lot and create a huge airline, I think. I mean, that sounds good, right? It sounds like something people would want to do. All right, we're at 8 minutes, coming down to the mark where we're going to want to start descending and start backing off on that power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into back into our product over here, and I'm going to kick in 500 feet a minute and get ready to pull the trigger on the vertical speed. We're also going to pull back as we get closer because we just went up to 253. We're breaking speed limits. We're going to get pulled over and get a ticket. This is our true airspeed over here. The computer actually spits it out for us. This is our indicated airspeed. This is our ground speed. The reason why we're going getting there so much quicker, we increased our ground speed from just around 230 up to 272. So that gave us a nice little jump. I just want to make sure that this right here is below 250. I'm not 100% sure why they have a speed limit below 250 to airspeed, but you know. Alright, so checking out all the views is making me sick. I'm just going to stick to looking at the aircraft and managing my descent that's going to be coming up. We're at 6:21. We have 2.5 minutes, and we're going to start our descent. Alright, I'm going to set 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet, and I'm going to hit altitude change at this point. Altitude change down to 4,000 feet. Approved. Alright, I'm going to start backing off on the throttle. Trying to slow us down to about 180. It's 5 minutes and we'll be there. So we've already passed the airport. There's almost no way that we haven't. Let's do that. Let's get in. There's 29D right there, so we haven't really. And that is our approach. Sigma, Fenru, taps, Zebor, landing. Not so bad. Okay. It's going to happen very quickly, so I'm going to keep dropping down power to about 55. Still getting down to 4,000. 536 to go because we reduced our power. Beautiful area. Let's see what the it's 852 feet above sea level. That was Huron. What is 29D? 29D is 1371 above sea level. Okay, that makes sense. $179, that's better. 517, 16, 15. Just about 10 minutes left on this flight, it looks like. And these turns shouldn't be too hard. Supposed to approach Sigma from the south. We're flying right at it. We should have probably come from a VOR just to the south of it, but I'm trying my best to make this one a quickie. Coming down to 4,000, no problem. And then we activate approach, and then we should be fine. Put on auto throttle, things will be fine. And we're just about at 27 gallons of fuel left. So getting this done is going to be important. 357, we are not flying with any reserve whatsoever. Just in case we miss, I don't think we could do many missed approaches. 348, 347, okay. Sigma's coming up. Hopefully it starts the approach right before that, so I'm going to put us into approach mode and let it work. It's magic. Put auto throttle on. I'm not too happy about auto throttle. I'm going to keep it down right about there. We want to keep the speed down. We want to be able to make these turns without making them way outside. So at 3 minutes and 2 seconds. One thing about the FCS throttle from Thrustmaster, the one that comes with the X16000M FCS, it's very tough. It's very hard to move. I miss my CH throttle and my SATEC throttle. But now that Logitech owns SATEC, I'll probably give them 2 months and then repurchase purchase an X56 for Star Citizen, see how that works. When we get onto Fenru, we're going to add flaps, and as we hit taps, we're going to drop our landing gear. These next turns are going to be much easier to make. Alrighty, 2 minutes and 23 till the next turn. By then we should be on course. You'll notice it turning ever so slightly as it's going towards Fenru. So next time, if there is a next time I fly this route, I got to make sure that before Sigma I pick a much different path as our Eclipse 550. And there we are, turning slightly onto course as we go. Little by little, getting closer and closer to it. And voila. I think that should be about it. I think with the crab angle for the wind, we should be fine right there. The plane will know when to turn onto Fenru itself. Almost directly on course. We're flying with slightly nose high right now. Beautiful aircraft. And coming right into Fenru, and then we have there it is, 29D is right there. Okay. So we're at a little bit more than a little bit less than a minute before we make our turn. And then it's going to be drop the altitude. And here comes the turn. So adding flaps, adding power. This first level of flaps. And we should be on approach now. What are we supposed to be at Zbor? Zbor was supposed to be at 1920 above sea level. Alright, this is not working. I need to turn it off, and let's get back on glide slope. I probably did something incorrect, so I'm just going to let it settle. And I'll set it down manually, because you know what? What do pilots do? Pilots land aircraft. And I'm just going to take it down till I see the red lights, so I know that I'm on glide slope. We are getting a little bit of wind, so we definitely want to have that crab angle in. Got to remember to kick it around. We're keeping it right around 116, 117. I don't know what the approach speeds are in this yet. I will look that up. Final approach. We look like we're just about at Zbor. We'll be on a 2-mile final at that point. Trying to drop the altitude a little bit. We're supposed to be at 1920 for Zbor. We're very high right now, so I'm going to drop down a little bit more. Our altitude change is not as fast as a airliner is, but it's getting up there, 1,000 feet, 1,200 feet a minute. All right, so we are we're in a better place, I feel. We'll come right over the trees, just about intercepting the glide slope. We're right around 700 feet above the field right now. So I feel that we need to retard our descent a little bit, add some more power. Fly it right to the... There we go. We intercepted the glide slope. Little high, but we're fine. And keep that crab angle in, and I'm going to have to kick it around when it's done. So 112, going to pull back a little. And let's see how we're going. Okay, there's that crab angle in. And get ready for... We're going to land a little late. This is a go-around situation. There we go. There we go. There we go. Nice little soft landing. Remembering to put the rudder in at the end. There we go. Let's bring the... Well, clean up the aircraft and get it shut down. So we're at the end. And slowing down just a little bit more. Look at the look at that. Look at the winds right now. That was a pretty heavy crosswind component. All right, and we're just going to come over here and shut down the engines, open it up, let the people off. That should be no problem, right? All right, so we're right here and turn it off. So first thing we do is parking brake. Next thing we do is the two engines. Alright, they're down, and then turn everything off going over. And open this up and go to ground, chocks, door. It doesn't want the chocks to go out. There go, chocks. Alright, so everything's ready. Let's see if we can get this thing to open X economy. Finish flight. Flight is finished. Did great. Did great. And let's take a look at the landing and see how I did this time. There's that crab angle. You could see it. I floated a little bit above it, but we knew that I was high. I didn't want to set it down too much, but we have more than enough to stop this baby. There it is, and where's the rudder? Where's the rudder? There's the rudder. Oh, I didn't get it in the way I thought I did. Alright, well, still got to make those crosswind landings a little bit better, but with that amount of wind blowing today, it's no wonder why we had that problem. Thanks for flying with me in this flight. I'll give you an idea of what we made on this. I'll go to my log and go to that last flight. We made $3,146. The aircraft for the half hour cost us 0.52 hours, so it's for 1 hour. Cost us $404. Fuel and ground crew cost us $656, and the distance bonus flying away from the home base of the Eclipse was negative 67. So we made a total of $42.75 and wound up spending about $1,100. We have $3,000 more to put in the bank. So I'm sitting at about $24,000 right now, and I need $160 to buy my first aircraft. Nonetheless, I'm liking FSEconomy and Flight X-Plane put together. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.